Hello and welcome, each and every one of you. With you today is me, Daiga, coach therapist from DCT Center, and Angelika Broekers, transformational speaker, coach, and author. But before all that, someone who been through hell and managed to get out of it. Hello, Angelika.
Hi, Daga. How are you doing? Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on the show. It's really pleasure to hear your story. So, before we start, I just want to remind all our viewers that we're both taking in private clients for coaching. Angelica will tell absolutely everything about herself and her work she does, and her contact details is below the video. And I myself taking in clients for coaching therapy and using EFT, Reiki, access bars, and hypnotherapy and psychotherapy in my coaching. So if you are down, stressed, or just want to change your life for better, please contact me. My contact details is below the video as well. Okay, Angelica, floor is all yours. Where would you like to start?
Thank you. Well, I like to start with this, and that is, I'm going to share my story, and I'll be talking about various things about my ABC Change for Life program. And what I always say is that my truth is not necessarily the audience truth. Yeah. So just take what resonates with you, with you, for the audience. And, it maybe sounds like at the time, I'm telling people what to do, but I am not, because I just need to be able to speak freely so that I can give examples and give different perspectives.
I think all my audience understand that we both coming from our hearts, we telling our truth, what was true from us, how we managed to get where we are at the moment. So maybe start from very beginning,
Yes,
from your childhood and your journey.
I will. And, I will do that. And everybody has a story. And I'm going to share my story now, because it is all in the story that we tell. Change your story and change for life. So the beginning was already in being in utero with my mother. We were living in a very domestic, violent environment, and I was born into domestic violence. And when I say utero, is because everything that the mother experienced, the child experiences as well. So, or the baby, I should say. So then I was born into that environment. And I experienced physical, mental, emotional abuse. It was almost like cruelty. My father was not a very kind man. So from the age of 5, he started to sexually abuse me. When I was 9 years old, he told me that when I'm old enough, then I would be working as a prostitute to make him a lot of money. So I knew what that meant. And even though I was only 9 years old, growing up in this fight, in this environment, you just go to different levels. So I attracted the man into my life that introduced me to that profession, because my father planted the seed. I believed him when he said there was Father Christmas, so I believed him there too, subconsciously. It's like seeding seeds in a garden with thoughts and beliefs that we are given from our parents or our environment when we grew up. So when I met this man, it just seemed like really natural. It's like, oh, this is what my father prepared me for. And after all, I wanted to be loved. And love was something, when you grow up in this environment, is something that is not there in abundance. Nurture, love, care is it's not there, basically. You're just surviving, on the basics. So I thought, wow, I agreed to do it because I wanted to be loved. So I did this for a very, very long time. I think it was something like over 10 years or 10 years, round about there. I don't remember, certain events or years, because at the time it was all too traumatic. So I agreed. I did the work in an escort agency in London. Then I had this drive in me. I knew there must be something else. I knew this is not my life. So I left him, the person that introduced me to this profession, and stayed in the business for another 2 years. And then in the 2 years, I was getting some training. I went to Pittman College, but didn't pass the test. I didn't stay there. Did ticketing for British Airways, of course, because I thought, well, before I make a move, I need to have some more skills. So that didn't work quite the way I wanted it to. Then I walked literally the streets in London, Regent Street and Piccadilly Circus, looking for jobs advertised in windows. In those days, there were the little white cards there, we are looking for. But I didn't quite have the courage to go in. I did it once, but she asked me a question and I didn't have the answer. I didn't have a CV. It's like, oh, what have you been doing until now? And I'm like, oh, yeah, good point. It's sort of like, but I was so on a mission to change my life. And what I didn't realize at the time is that I was setting the intention, where the thought goes, the energy will flow.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that at the time. My time, I was not aware of self-development. It wasn't really known to us or to me. And, but somehow intuitively, yeah, that's what I did. And then at a dinner's lunch party, my friends knew I was looking for a job, because a daytime job, because they thought I was working in nightclubs. And so anyway, my friend said, hey, I hear you're looking for a job. Is that true? I says, yes. And I said, he said, are you interested? And I said very quickly, yes, I am, before this parrot on the shoulder could come. Basically, subconscious mind kicking in and saying, who the hell are you? You can't do that. You know your place, and your place is back there, doing what you always have done, being abused, self-abuse. So I went for the interview and I got the job. And that was my first job, kind of going straight in the city in an IT company. And the funny thing is with this is that I knew then I couldn't spell to save my life, but I ended up actually typing for a financial director, typing his notes. And I'm like, oh my God, how many zeros has a million? And it's kind of stressed and scared. But they moved me to sales support, which was great, customer service. So I stayed in that career for a very long time. So I did well. I met new friends. My life really changed. Yes, there was stuff going on in me that still needed to be processed. I met my ex-husband in the first job I got, and that was wonderful. So kind of fast forwarding a bit is that the last IT company, I actually found out that I was dyslexic, which was in 2002. So he is my supervisor. He actually, his mother works with children that have learning difficulties. And even though it was really sad to find out, it was great to know, because that explained when I was involved in project, my main difficulty is to write. Of course I can write, but when you're involved in a project, you have to write a report. And that explained why, even though I got the best feedback in each company, but I just didn't quite make it because I didn't have that ability.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, so, you know, silver lining in there. And now, you know, when you know, then you know what you can do and what you need to do. And all this shame that has been put up on me in school, you know, it's like, this is why this has happened. And you start to understand, you know. I went to school at the time where they shamed people in class, children. And I even had it written in my report that Angelika tries very hard, but she cannot do it. I mean, there were so many situations, and, you know, maybe some of the audience kind of resonates with that. You know, when you grow up in an environment like I have, or many other different environments that are not right, you're too stressed. You're always looking out for the danger, yeah, to protect yourself. You're in fight and flight all the time, and you cannot learn when you're in fight and flight, and nobody knows, because you are so intimidated by actually speaking up. From my own father, that you just don't. So going back to the last corporate job I had, the big one, I was off with stress. I left, and I actually became a Bowen therapist because I already was studying for it. And when
a therapist, could you explain what it is?
Yeah,
Please?
the Bowen Technique is a hands-on therapy, which is for stress, tension-based problems and pain relief, which is very gentle, rolling type of moves are made on specific points of the body. So it works via the nervous system, the blood circulation is increased, so people feel relaxed, and it's about realignment. And it's almost like, even though when I was taught, they don't really speak about this, but from, you know, what I learned in the last few years, dipping into other therapies and modalities, is it's releasing stress from the body. Yeah, it's like, for example, when somebody has a bad back, then, you know, the body gets used to it. And then it's okay, the body accepts it, nothing is really done. So it's realigning that, undoing that, and the body is bypassing its own, you know, it's because we can heal ourselves, but the body is kind of bypassing the pain because it's just there, and it's not healing it because we're putting too much on the body. So with the Bowen Technique, it's about realignment and undoing that, creating flow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and on a mental, physical and emotional level. And I have practiced this for 14, 15 years. Yeah, and absolutely loved it. But then the time came where I thought, I did other jobs with that. I did caring. I have done so many jobs in a way. But with that came that my question to myself was, is this really what I want to do? And I got into Bob Proctor, which goes back a long time ago now, and bless his soul, he died a few days ago, or
week, I think, about a week ago, I think.
Yeah, something like that. And I never forget listening to him on this DVD, the video, The Secret. And say, what is it what you would get up for in the middle of the night? And I knew that if there is somebody in need, or somebody needs help changing their perspective, getting them out of the state that they're in, helping them overcome their stress for whatever reason, I would do that. And I realized I always have done that. Yeah, having lived a life on the edge of life, you know, basically on a cliff, you have to continuously be very resourceful in your way of thinking and thinking out of the box. So we get pushed to our limits. So, you know, I just feel I have the ability to do that for people, giving them different perspective, painting a completely different picture, or being the editor of their story. Yeah, because it's all in the story that we keep repeating. And yeah, I thought, yeah, that's what I would love to do. And I can remember actually speaking to somebody who was a friend and a counselor at the time. I said, oh, I think I need to do a life coaching course. And she says, look, with your experience, you know, you don't. Yeah. But however, I did do a life coaching course and other courses. So yeah, so that is where the journey started. I don't want to, and I didn't want to take my knowledge and my wisdom to my grave, because I knew that, and I know that things can be changed. We can change our story. That is, we don't have to live in this, you know, a life of pain and not having the confidence, low self-esteem, shame, guilt. Yeah, we can change that. And, you know, I'm not saying this lightly. I understand, having gone through my own process, how challenging that is and can be, because it's in those deep, you know, dark moments is finding the strength within to hold the thought and to do what we need to do. Yeah, because I just knew innately, you know, that something can be done about it. And, you know, I'm so pleased I did. Otherwise, you know, I wouldn't be here. And when I share my story, it's not to impress, totally not. Everybody has a story. It's to give hope and to share my tools, because these are the tools, but I'm going to share some of my tools. And this is what I used to come to get to where I am now. Yeah. And yeah, it's been a hell of a journey, but I thank everybody that has come into my life and giving me the experiences that I had, because I love who I have become. And without these people, I you know, I wouldn't be who I am today. Yeah, and that is not to say that, you know, it's, oh, look at me, I sorted my stuff out. It's a journey. There are still things, you know, it's ongoing, but it's knowing the tools, and we turn it around a lot quicker. So
Yeah, I think many people can, from that knowledge what you're telling and those tools what you will be giving, yeah, your own tools what you've been using. I think many people will find that they can do it things fast. We don't want other people who listening us at the moment go through another 30 years till something changes.
yeah,
We want them to fast forward,
yeah,
to give them toolkit, then you can fast forward your life instead of going through same patterns over and over again till you figure it out yourself, yeah,
yeah.
one way or another.
That's right. You know, I had help. I needed help. You know, and luckily I found the right help. You know, sometimes we can't do it by ourselves, and learning these tools is an ongoing process. You know, and the funny thing is, like, is that the tools that I'm going to share, the steps that I have been through, they're not new. They're not new. You know, I think what changed it slightly is that people see that somebody with my story has used, let's say, these simple tools, and I have been able to change my story, and therefore my life. Yeah, is it will give them hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is why I created my ABC Change for Life. So A stands for acceptance, plus B for belief, C for choice. So acceptance plus belief plus choice equals change. Yeah. So it starts all with accepting what we have gone through. Yeah. Finding a way. So when I do my workshop, I says, look, if I would, if I could tell you, take the first turn left, then when you come to the roundabout, you take the third exit, and when you come to the next roundabout, you take the second exit, I would do that, but we can't. So by acceptance, we have to find and be willing and open to find the agility in our mind, to find the silver lining, yeah, to find something positive about it. Yeah, gratefulness, thankful, yeah, whatever the situation is. And I know I'm talking kind of in, it's, yeah, it's like I like sometimes to, when I talk to individuals, I can go deeper because I know their actual circumstances. So, but it needs openness and to realize that, we can't change the past. And if we don't accept what has happened, then it will keep the power over us emotionally and in our thoughts. And we will just be there. We're not moving forward. We're not free to move forward. It's stopping the fight against it, letting go of what has happened. And it's forgiveness. And again, it's nothing new. If we forgive, if we let go and accept, it does not make it right what has happened to a person in the past. So by me accepting what has happened and integrating the person that, worked as an escort or was abused, living in shame and guilt, it is all my fault, I pushed that person away because I just know it's too shameful, but we need to accept it and integrate that person, yeah, to become complete. And it didn't make it right what has happened to me in so many situations. And it gives us peace. And I'm sure that most of the audience know the Serenity Prayer. I don't know it off by heart.
I do know, but I think maybe you tell our viewers because not everybody knows that.
Okay, so let me see if I can find that quickly. Okay, I think I have it in my book. I should have it in my book, to be honest. So apologies, just give me. Oh yeah. So for those that don't know the Serenity Prayer, and it's a good reminder, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Yeah. And yeah, you see, so the wisdom to know the difference. I like to say something else to that, is that for many years, what I still was feeling is from the event what happened to me in the past. So the trauma, the wounding, because trauma needs to be the word trauma needs to be de-traumatized, it's wounding, is it happened in the past, and the shock, the impression of that was still in my body, in my nervous system, in every single cell of my body, even though it happened so many years ago. And that is what we're dealing with. And when we have to face it or we get triggered with something, then it just all comes back alive again. So we think, oh my God, subconscious mind, oh, it's happening again, happening again. And, and it's like, we can handle that by breathing, allowing it in, and processing it by breathing and experiencing it and letting it go. Yeah. I learned about somatic healing, Peter Levine. I don't know, maybe you know him, but who, you know,
I don't.
yeah,
I just wanted to ask, who is it?
yeah. Peter Levine, he's developed somatic healing. And, you know, and what he says is that at the time of trauma or any kind of experiences, may it be bullying, it doesn't have to be sexual abuse or what I have been through, or a car accident, in that moment, it is a shock. And if we don't have the right people around us at the time to help us, yeah, to make us feel safe and help us processing it, it stays in the nervous system. Yeah. So, and then of course, you know, one thing comes on top of another. So for some people, there might be 2 events, but, you know, if somebody had a colorful life like I had, or a history, then there is more than 1 event that has happened. You know, I just share that, you know, it's, you know, it goes on and on and on. So, you know, it's like, yeah, look into it. It's learning from other people, from people that are specialists in the field. Like Peter Levine said, people that have been wounded in trauma are the most, trauma is belittled, it's ignored, it's not really taken serious, but it is changing. You know, it is changing, thank God. So, you know, there is, you know, it sits in your body, and then we get triggered, and then we feel like it's happening again. So therefore it's a process, you know, and you know what you do and I do, we hold the space for people to do whatever they need to process, to help them to move on over the challenge, over the obstacle. So, and you know, a little exercise everybody could do is actually sit down and write down 3 or 4 things that they have difficulties in finding to accept. Yeah, it's as simple as this. Just write it down and just reflect. Find the silver lining. Find something to be grateful about this experience, because there is something. It's letting go of the emotional hurt, and I kind of, you know, this is what happened, you know, to let it go. Yeah, it doesn't serve us. It can make us ill. Disease, yeah, disease. And you know, and then, you know, I explain about the acceptance in my workshop, and then I go on to attitude. We have to have, you know, have a look at our attitude. Have we got an attitude that serves us, or have we got an attitude, yeah, that keeps us in the not accepting? Yeah, so we need to change the, you know, attitude. You know, if we have an attitude that serves us, and we have a good outlook somehow, or get a good outlook, then we can make changes. But otherwise, an attitude that doesn't serve us keeps us in the past. We can't do anything about it. Like equally, we can't do anything about when we go too far in the future. So the attitude is like, is it yours, or is it given to you? And I know from my own experience, and many people do too, is that we're born and we learn from our parents, our environment. And this is not putting the blame on parents. Yeah, not at all. Parents do their best that they can do. Yeah, because what they have learned. So they pass that on to their children, and suddenly somebody becomes, you know, say, one parent is always, oh no, we can't do that. You know, it won't work. You know, negative attitude somehow. That goes on to the children. So it's about, again, having a look at it. Yeah, what is your attitude? Have you got an open mind? Have you got a can-do attitude? Or I can't? And there's the famous quote from, what is it, from Ford, whether you say I can't or I can, you're right. Yeah. So it's just getting the, you know, getting it right, and kind of, yeah, I want to make some changes. So let's get a good attitude. And again, when people keep having a really negative, bad attitude, it costs you your energy. It is a hard work to do this. Yeah, really hard work. And it makes you ill. And if you are with people all the time that have a really bad attitude, you attract more people with bad attitude, and it's really negative. And say, you know, it's like if you have those people around you and you have kind of a good attitude, you know, that will affect your decision making, the negative attitude. And if you say to somebody, oh yeah, I like to go and study, or I like to do this to improve me, they will say, oh, well, what do you want to do that for? Yeah. So it's like having a look at that. These are basic things. It's nothing new. It can be done. Yeah. It's building the platform. Yeah. Getting it straight in our mind, changing our story, and building the platform. And you know, again, have a look. Google, find out for yourself in a way, have a look. Yeah. It's all taking the steps, the right steps. Because like Albert Einstein says, doing the same thing day in and day out, or every day, is not those exact words, but the point I'm trying to make is, it is insanity doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different outcome. Yeah, it doesn't happen. So, you know, going into the attitude, yeah, have a look. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking all day? Acknowledge, where are you in life? Yeah. Are you happy with your life? If not, where, you know, what are the areas? Taking stock, because it's like a sat-nav. If the sat-nav doesn't know where it is, it doesn't know where it needs to go, how to get there. So if we know where we is by looking into our area of lives, you know, may it be a career, may it be emotionally, spiritually, relationships, you know, if you get a gauge there, then you know what you need to do. That is a good starting point. And it's also, some people say, oh, well, I don't like goals. Well, make a bit of a plan. Set the intention when you know what you need to do. And, you know, one of my favorite, it is my favorite, was my favorite, is that, you know, the important thing to this also is Dr. Emoto. He's done an experiment with water drops. And that is all kind of linked with acceptance and acknowledge with all my kind of modules, is that water was exposed to words of evil. And the water formed kind of dark crystal. It looks really dark. And then a water was exposed to kind and loving words. And it formed beautiful crystals that were beautiful. They looked like a snowflake, like diamonds. Yeah, I think you see in the pictures.
I see.
Yeah. And, you know, if we walk around all day and we're having negative thoughts, then that's how we start feeling. And that's, you know, what we think and what we feel is what we project to the outside, and then it gets met. That is what we attract. So it's becoming aware of the thoughts, yeah. And okay, so here, this is what I do, this is what I say, and this is what I learned. I learned from some really good people, and, you know, bringing my wisdom together. I like that. Because, you know, my intuition, it's coming from my, you know, it's coming from, you know, coming from me. So as well, yeah. So what I have done myself, what I learned to do is, when becoming aware of your thoughts, when you have a negative thoughts, that parrot says, a subconscious mind, because everything has been filmed, recorded by the subconscious mind, and it's there and it comes up and it thinks it is protecting you, keeping you safe. but it isn't. It's stopping you. Yes, sometimes it can save you. So it's saying, hey, don't make that mistake again. But the majority, it just has a, it's just doing its job. It's running your show. So we need to get in control of our life, of our film. So when a negative thought came up, I was aware of that thought. When somebody comes up, you can't do that, or you mustn't do that. I can't think of an appropriate example, typical. But, okay, thank you very much for that thought. Acknowledging the thought, not suppressing it, yeah, acknowledging it. But I choose this, which is the opposite, the positive scenario of that, yeah. And that is a process that needs to be repeated all the time. And what we're doing by that is growing new neural pathways. Okay, the negative pathway falls away in the end. And I had the pleasure of having that wonderful experience because I did this for a very long time. Yeah, becoming aware and changing it. And then suddenly it did it by itself. And I thought, oh my God, that's amazing. Because when you have to be aware of your thoughts all the time, yeah, it's hard work.
It is.
Oh, my head.
It is.
Isn't it? It's not an exaggeration, but it is worth it. It's so worth it. And by that happening to me, I thought, oh, that is just so great. That was, I achieved something. So, but also it didn't mean that this is where you stop. You need to do, you need to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Keep doing it. And, you need to keep doing it. And Dr. Jody Spencer, he had a video of this. And it was great, like he says, the negative, the glue is taken away on the synapses with the positive thought. The glue is taken away from the negative thought, and it just goes ping, there it goes. Yeah. And because also what we think has an effect, the body is listening. What I do when I speak in an audience or on virtually, what I do is I demonstrate the muscle testing. It's kinesiology. I'm not a kinesiology person, but I just do the muscle testing. And the muscle testing is about, demonstrating that the body is listening. It's like when you familiar with muscle testing?
No.
No. Okay. So it's kinesiology. So what I would do is I would ask them, the arm is, they stretch the arm out. I put some pressure on their hand. Yeah. I ask the body for a yes. And then the arm holds strong. I'm pushing it down, but she is saying yes, and it stays there. If a person says no, then I put pressure on it and it goes down. Yeah. So I demonstrate that way by asking them to say a name that is not their name. Yeah. So if my name is Angelika, it go down. Yeah. And if I say my right name, it will stay up. So the brain, the body is listening. And also I get him to think about something negative, and then the arm goes down. If they think positive, the body is strong. So it serves us to, aware of our thoughts. If we're not feeling so well, what are we thinking? Yeah. And
same way, you actually, in these times when so many things is going around, different things flying around, and when you don't know what you're breathing in one moment or other moment, it's very good if you check, you feel the body is going down, check on it and straight away try bring it up. And as soon you're bringing this vibration up, already up subconscious level, bring it up. Yeah, that's it. This feeling of going down is actually disappearing.
That's right. It's right. And it's a process that we have to repeat. We can do it. So these are the tools: becoming aware, and finding out what works for each individual. Yeah, because there are, one thing for me, which is like, because I'm kind of, because of my own trauma, I'm kind of, I feel I'm very trauma informed. And, some things don't work for me because of the trauma, experiencing developmental trauma, I feel, well, when somebody is triggered and very active in their mind and say, well, you need to meditate now. Well, it's impossible. The mind is triggered. Yeah. And it's a very chaotic mind people can have. So it's finding their own way that suits them to calm down. May it be breathing, may it be for going a walk, or just lying and becoming aware, to calm, to be able to self-regulate. Yeah. So that is very important too. We have to, it's like we have to take responsibility for ourselves and who we are. And yes, it is good sometimes to be told what to do, even though nobody should really tell you what to do. But, that's why I say, I'm not telling you what to do. You just take what, to my clients, you take what resonates. And if, and then, yeah. Yeah. And it works. We have to take responsibility. And we have to be able to go within. It is a very, very, very noisy, ugly environment out there at the moment. We're so distracted with news. The news is fearful. We have social media. We're always under so much pressure that we're living on the outside. And it doesn't help us to make sometimes the right decisions or to feel good about ourselves. It has an effect on us. So it's so important to come within.
Yeah.
And, finding it from here. And again, I'm not saying this lightly. I know that some people will find it difficult, but what I'm saying is change for life is possible in spite of thinking it is not. We just need to do the work. We need to take the steps. And it's a step at a time. It is a journey.
Yeah, and I think at the moment, those people who are listening to us, they have huge opportunity to actually use both of our support. And because my support, really, when I'm listening tools, you using my support is very similar. It's not the same, of course, not the same, but everybody is different. But if this resonates with you, please contact Angelika, contact me, and we will help you to the first steps, put you on the right way where you will manage to move forwards in your life. And if you are really serious about changing your life, I'm sure we are able to help.
Yeah, definitely. It's, you holding a wonderful space. We're holding this space for the clients, don't we? For them to feel safe. And we all need different people, and I am not everybody's cup of tea, but this is the reality of it. So it's like, yeah, take the first step, at least kind of make that call and get in touch with somebody, don't suffer in silence.
Yeah. Is there anything else, Angelika, you want to tell our viewers today or share with our viewers today?
Yeah, there is something I like to, well, yeah, it's, it is about the story and it's change for life. And when I say change for life, is making the internal changes. Yeah. Like when we say, oh, you need to change your life, then, it is more like you doing, maybe you're painting the walls, you're moving around your furniture and you're changing your environment and you feel like you changed your life. But that only lasts for a very short time. So the changes that need to be made are internally. I just touched on a few tools, that is more. you know, and yeah, there is more of that.
You just tell exactly what I've been thinking about. So many people are, instead of changing themselves and their inner world and their story,
Mm,
they actually changing environment.
yeah.
They painting walls, they buying new furniture, they arranging room around, but what's happening in these persons who live in this environment, it's not going to change.
Yeah,
Your room change, but not yourself.
that's right. Absolutely. You know, by going shopping, you
Hmm.
know, we get addicted to our own thoughts. Yeah. How we ask the question, you know, like it's like in Google, you know, I can't remember who said this, but I like to repeat it. And it's like Google. If you put good information in there, you get a good answer back. You know, so if we kind of ask ourselves good questions, what can I do here? You know, and what do I need to do really? You know, how can I change this for real?
Hmm.
And not automatically kind of going shopping or whatever the addiction is. Addiction is not just, alcohol and drugs, just having the same thinking pattern, because it's comfortable, isn't it? Because changing something takes effort and people
It's
get,
hard.
yeah, it's hard.
It's hard. It's hard work.
Yeah, it is, but it's worthy because, you become authentic. You reconnect with who you really are. You really get in touch again with what you really want to do, because many people are in a job just because they are, or they're living their life, or with a partner just because they are. They think, this is it. But it is not necessarily really what we want, because we're not really in touch with ourselves, and therefore we can't be authentic to ourselves, because to be authentic is important. If we're not authentic, then we're not really living our life. And um I'm not saying everybody has to be out there and be, be it. Is how well, let me explain it like this. A friend of mine, she said, you are so lucky, you know what you're doing, you know what you want to do, you have your purpose. And I said to her, I says, look, yes, I know what I want to do, what I'm passionate about, and that's what I'm doing. But you have a purpose too. And the first, most important purpose is looking after ourselves, taking responsibility for ourselves, yeah, and to be really who we are. It's not about being, you know, some really wealthy person out there, yeah. It's about really to be who we are and doing what we love doing. If somebody is passionate about baking bread, then that is a purpose. That man or person, woman is doing that. Or to be a nurse, or to be a
Mm.
florist. Yeah. It is not about earning money, 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 because that's the world that we live in. If you don't earn X amount of money, you are, you don't belong to the club. Yeah. Or need to be successful. We are successful the best, when we look really after ourselves, and then we're happy, we feel at peace. That is our
Yeah.
responsibility.
And that actually is our success.
Yes, it is.
Not how many cars is in driveway and how many rooms you have in your villa.
Yeah. If you have that too, great.
Yeah,
But it's not,
exactly.
yeah, it's not, nothing, money is good, it's good, but, we have to be here, because we compare ourselves, people compare themselves, to other people
Mm.
who think that is successful. And, yes, it is for them, but you know, we don't know their life. Don't compare. If we compare ourselves to other people, then we are lowering ourselves. We're putting them on a pedestal, you know, and we are I can't say the word right now, but we're putting ourselves on a lower level.
Yeah. We have to remember we are all enough.
Yeah,
Marisa Pierce is teaching very good this. I
mhm,
am enough.
yeah,
Put on all murals around home, on the table, everywhere. I am enough.
enough. Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
you are the creation of God, of universe. You are enough.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, totally. It's just wonderful. And you know, just having this conversation with you, it's like, you know, just making me smile, you know, lights my light. It's like, you know, and I always thank people when I do my workshop, when I do my mentoring, when I'm, you know, when I'm being interviewed or we're talking here. It's like, you know, it's like, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be who I am.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
that's exactly.
yeah, you know, that is just wonderful because yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say, Angelica?
Well, is there anything else? Is wow, yeah, become aware of your story. Become aware of what you say. Yeah, become aware. It's like, you know, we say like we have our throwaway comes. Oh, I'm always so stupid. Really? Where did this come from? Who told you you're stupid? You know. And when you're thinking, oh yeah, I'm stupid. Oh, I'm never going to be making well. How do you know that? Yeah, become aware of what you're thinking and what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah,
reach out to people and go on a journey. You know, get interested in the things that you're interested and want to do always in your life, because you can go and get help. YouTube, I mean, massive tool. Yeah, switch off the TV. Yeah, it's get a book, listen to people in the field. You know, my heroes are Gabor Mate, Dr. Jody Spencer, Bruce Lipton. You know, these are the guys I learned from. I studied the books, I listened to them. And you know what I find always found useful, we all have a bit of a time sometimes where we kind of waver and we're having too much going on. Listen to these people. I always advise the people that work with me, when you're doing housework, listen to those people. Yeah, because it is new information and it has an effect and it supports you. If you started to make changes to your life, then you're getting another different perspectives and it helps you. And here is a that just talking about that is giving reminded me of a story. Um, I don't know, but you probably be of Les Brown, who is a motivational speaker from the States. He,
I don't think.
yeah, he is not so known in the UK, but you know, people are aware of him. Now, he was um, a woman found him and his twin brother in a multi-story car park. The woman that found them took him on, took the two boys on and looked after them. She adopted them, and she was a cleaner, and she went cleaning to the houses, and the boys had to go with them. And Les, he always used to be in the environment of a study of the owner of the house that I worked for. He always was listening to self-motivational tapes. And Les is just dusting the shelves and doing what he is doing, and he doesn't really know what he's listening to, but he was listening. And that had an impact in him, the environment that he was in. Yeah. And it was him that also shared the story of there's one particular university in the States that has a test that nobody ever passed. Yeah, and the professor goes on and on and on about it. Never ever, it's so difficult and in so many years. However, the students do the test. One person, yeah, passed the test. And they says, you cheated, do the test again. And he did the test again, and he did even do better. Yeah, second. And I'm like, this is impossible. Nobody ever. Then it materializes that that one person was not in the room, he was in the bathroom when the professor went on and on and on and on about how nobody ever passed the test. So choose what you listen to. Yeah? Choose your environment. Create an environment around you, the people that is actually supportive. And take action. Is when I realized my attitude was crap. It was like I hated the world, I didn't trust the people because of my experiences. And when, you know, listen to what I was like, yeah, I got to change my attitude. So I decided to smile at people when appropriate. Eye contact and a smile. And I did this for years. People were talking about me in the companies. Like, who is that woman? She's always smiling. And it made me feel good and made them feel good. You know, oh, you know, you brighten the day up. And then one guy's, oh, you know, who is that woman? But the next, and that was the only person in the company that didn't smile. But after that, you know, he did. So that was great. But my amazing reward for this was going shopping. I see this woman, I smile, she smiles. I go on my business, and then I see her again, and she crosses my path again. But this time, she saw me first. And she gave me the most incredible smile. It was a smile from an angel, straight into my heart. And I was tangoed. I was like, oh my God, you know, and I felt really good. And I was like, oh, I did it. You know, I'm a step forward. I changed my, you know, part of my attitude and getting a different outlook. It was my reward. So the reward comes. It just takes a bit of time and effort. Yeah.
Yeah, it's need actually just work on yourself. Start from figure it out. Yes, I really want to change, and then start working.
Yeah, that's right. You know, and you can change things along the line. It's like the most important part is to start. Nothing is written in stone. It's learning, yeah, and not to be fearful, because fear stands for false emotions appearing real, because we're creating this with our mind. We want to be there already in the future. You know, it's like we live in a universe of polarity. Here's the dark, here's the light. It is about staying in the middle, in you know, and having the balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with this, I think we can finish today.
Okay, that's great.
I think you get lots of tips how to start your change. If you like our show, please share and subscribe. And Angelika will put on her channel as well up this show. So please, if you like my work, PayPal link is below the video. Every your donation will be highly appreciated and help me support my family. And from our hearts to yours, thank you very much for watching, and God bless.